It is Friday, the 11th of April, 2025. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Today, we're returning to the familiar field of elbow, as I like to do, because we're almost at the end and I still have more elbow songs to talk about. Today, we're talking about another song from the 2008 album, The Seldom Seen Kid, and that song is The Loneliness of a Tower Crane Driver. I've always liked this song, but this is one of those ones that was kind of a dark horse for me, because when I first heard this album, this is the first elbow album I heard, and, I first was really into Starlings, Grounds for Divorce, One Day Like This, Bones of You, Mirror Ball, But after I listened to the album more, became more familiar with it, and Grounds for Divorce and One Day Like This became quite overplayed, I was paying more attention to the other songs. I got really into Some Riot and Friend of Ours and Loneliness of a Tower Crane Driver. And so this kind of become sort of like it's not my favorite elbow song. My favorite elbow song is Newborn, but it's in contention. It's up there, and I sometimes forget about it. But I love hearing this one live, and I'll talk about that more when we actually listen to it, because then I can, you'll have heard it, so you'll understand what I'm talking about when I talk about that. But let's just go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. That was The Loneliness of a Tower Crane Driver by Elbow. I love the vibe of this song. I love the feel of it. The way it all feels kind of ethereal. The way it like it's kind of this pulsing sound throughout. It opens just with the do 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 do, and throughout the song you have the drum beat that's like da-lum, ch, da-lum, ch, da-lum, ch. And I was saying how I love hearing this song live. Now, I checked my Setlist FM stats, because I was thinking I've seen it live a few times, but I don't think they've played it at every gig I've seen them. Turns out they've played it at 4 of the gigs I've seen them. The first one I went to in 2009, the one I went to in 2011, 2018, and 2022. And I specifically remember at the 2022 one, how just when they play this song, I lock into the drum beat and I go into a trance. When, after the first chorus, when it's all these pretty sounds, and then it falls back into the drum beat. Do, 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 do. My eyes close and I just head nods forward, head nods back with the drums is forward, back. And it's just, I remember texting my boyfriend after that gig being I think being in an Elbow concert is my natural state of being. I just I become human there, right? But yeah, I just this song puts me in a trance. I really love it. What's the song about? Well, it confused me for a while because it's about a tower crane driver, but what does that have to do with anything? So there's 2 different quotes here from Guy that say basically the same thing, although they provide different context. So the first one was, I like the idea that a tower crane driver is higher paid than the people on the ground, but completely on his own. He has to start a bit early to get up there and work a bit later because it takes him longer to get down. I thought it was a good metaphor for ambition. Well paid but high and dry. And the other quote is, my brother-in-law met a tower crane driver in a bar who began the night boasting about how well paid he was and how much he loved his job. He ended the night crying into his beer with loneliness. Ambition, if pursued to the cost of everything else, can leave you high, dry, and lonely. So that's what this song is about. It uses this metaphor of a tower crane driver as representing someone whose ambition has led them to high places, but they're alone. It hasn't necessarily benefited them all too much, Now, I'm checking the lyrics in different places because the Genius lyrics are slightly different than what I thought they were. And then someone in the comments said they should be this, which is different again to what I thought they were. And so I'm finding that different websites seem to have different versions of it here. None of them what I thought it was, which is very interesting, the very first line. Because the very first line, according to Genius, is gotta get out of TV. According to someone in the comments and according to AZ Lyrics, it's gotta get out a CV. I always thought it was gotta get out a TV. I gotta get a TV out. And we'll talk about that as I go into the lyrics here. So, gotta get out a TV, just pick a point and go. The ticker tape tangles my feet as I search for a face that I know. Come on, tower crane driver, there's not so far to go. So I thought it was saying, gotta get out a TV, just pick a point and go. Like someone spinning the globe and pointing to a country. Turning on the TV, seeing some location location and being like, I'm going to go there, like to change my life, right? To get a change of scenery. But the idea of got to get out a CV, just pick a point and go. I get what they're saying, like I need to change my job, but I just don't think that's as good of a lyric. I don't think that's a good lyric. I don't think that's interesting. I think it's because I don't think just pick a point and go applies to the CV, right? A point of what? A point of your CV? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, the ticker tape tangles my feet as I search for a face I know. So, ticker tape. Did I talk about this on the show before? Ticker tape is the tape that like comes out of a stock ticker. And I don't know why the ticker tape would be tangling his feet. It makes me think of like caution tape. I don't think that's what he means. But anyway, as I search for a face that I know. But it's like he's looking out. Oh, maybe it's saying the ticker tape tangles my feet isn't like he makes a lot of money, right? He's covered in stocks. So he's like talking about how he has all these riches, but he's searching for a face that he know. He can't see them from how high up he is, you know. Come on, Tower Crane Driver, there's not so far to go. Then the second verse, I must have been working the ropes when your hand slipped from mine. Now I live off the mirrors and smoke. It's a joke, a fix, a lie. Come on, Tower Crane Driver, oh so far to fall. So, I must have been working the ropes when your hand slipped from mine. It implies that he's talking about like he was too dedicated to his career. He was too focused on making money that he lost the person he loved, right? I must have been working the ropes, doing my job when your hand slipped from mine, when you drifted away from me, when our relationship dissolved, broke apart, you know. Now I live off the mirrors and smoke is a reference to the phrase smoke and mirrors, which refers to trickery and magic, you know, deception and misdirection. And so he's saying, I live off the mirrors and smoke. It's a joke, a fix, a lie. He's like tricking himself into continuing this lifestyle, so to speak. Now, it's interesting that he says it's a joke, a fix, a lie, because the very next song on the album is The Fix featuring Richard Hawley. And so it could be referencing that, or it could just be him using the same phrase, but it is interesting that it's there. And then the Come on, Tower Crane Driver, oh so far to fall. Well, that's kind of in contrast to there's not so far to go. He's saying there's not so far to go, like there's not so far to go to change, but then oh so far to fall. You know, what's the phrase? The harder they come, the harder they fall. You know, he's so high up, he has such a way to fall. And then the final bit is, send up a prayer in my name, just the same. They say I'm on top of my game. Gentle, gentle Rose, send up a prayer in my name. I want to replay that bit because it doesn't sound like Rose to me. Okay, it does actually sound like he says gentle, gentle rose. That's interesting. I always thought it was gentle, gentle love. But I mean, I guess he's saying just like pray for me, right? But then he says, they say I'm on top of my game. Like people say, oh, you must have a great life. And then he says gentle, gentle rose. I assume it's him referring to this lover that he's lost, right? And then send up a prayer in my name. Just a really cool sounding song. I really like it. And I like the lyrics and I like the message. And that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. Probably a short one, but it's a simple song in a way. I love how it ends too with the kind of like, it feels like a sunrise in a movie, you know? So that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.
I needed a change. I needed a change of